Hey guys, hope you're all doing well today. My name is Frank Mularcik, and in this video, I'm going to be reviewing Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to like the video so that more people can see what I have to say about this book. And also, my dividend income update for September should be coming out this coming Tuesday. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe as well so you don't miss out on that video when I upload that. So whenever I'm looking at a book and deciding if I like it or not, or trying to do a review on it or something like that, I tend to want to learn about the author a little bit so I can get an idea of where they were coming from when they wrote this book. So Dale Carnegie was born in 1888 in Missouri, and during high school he was on the debate team, and he was very successful in that, and he was a pretty good student, and he also had a lot of responsibilities around the house, around his farm, I guess. He had to get up at 3 a.m. every morning to feed all the animals on the farm, so he was sort of balancing a lot of things there and proved to be very successful at pretty much all of them. And then he went to college, and he was a sort of a salesman for a few years after that. And he worked for a company called Armor and Company, and he made his sales territory in Nebraska the best-selling territory, and for that company. And I personally think he probably learned a lot of his people skills during this time, and maybe during his debate years as well. Because a lot of the anecdotes that he had in this book that we're going to talk about were sort of about salespeople and how they used his tactics in his book to make a sale and make their customers happy. So after he was a salesman for years, he went back to school to become an actor. So he just had a change of heart there, and he wasn't really very successful with that. But he went to a YMCA in New York, and he wanted to teach a public speaking course there, but the manager wasn't really so sure about it, so he set up like a commission system. So the YMCA would get part of the commission from the course, and after a year or two of doing that, he was making $500 a week with this course, which is the equivalent of almost $13,000 today. So it really shows he had something to offer that people were willing to pay for, and he really took advantage of that. And so pretty much the rest is history. In 1936, he published How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is what we'll be talking about today. And he died in 1955, but this book and his legacy has really lived on forever. It's sold over 30 million copies. There was the original 1936 edition, and there was in 1981, there was a revised edition that was published as well. In How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie basically breaks his strategy down into four sections or topics, I guess. And those are fundamental techniques in handling people, 6 ways to make people like you, how to win people to your way of thinking, and being a leader. And so within these sections, there's multiple chapters, and each chapter focuses on a specific principle that relates to the topic of that section. So basically what he does is he'll explain the principle, and he'll give a lot of stories about how people he's heard about or great people in history basically like use these techniques to be successful. And one of the things that I liked is that he used a lot of stories from historical figures like Abraham Lincoln or Teddy Roosevelt or Charles Schwab or Andrew Carnegie and people of that like in that era. But he also used a lot of stories from people who took his courses who were just regular average citizens. So it really shows that these principles really can apply to everyone. And then at the end of every chapter, he restates the principle that chapter is about in just like a short statement with just a sentence or two. And I really like that because it just sort of summarizes the whole chapter and allows you something that you can easily remember and sort of think about every day. So maybe you couldn't think of some abstract concept that he was talking about throughout the chapter, but if he puts it down in a short sentence or two, then you can easily remember it or remember it a lot more easily. So I think for me personally, my favorite section of the book was how to win people to your way of thinking. And I really liked this because I felt like it embodied pretty much all of what he was trying to say in this section. And the principle I enjoyed or got the most out of was when he said, the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. So he's basically saying, don't get into an argument, just talk it out and work through a solution together. And he's also points out that even if you like win an argument and get your way, the person who lost generally is going to take some negative feeling from that. Even though you may not have attacked them personally, you just attack, say, their ideas or their thoughts. A lot of people take that as like a personal attack. And so they just have a negative feeling after that, and that can affect your relationship in the future and affect how willing they are to work with you to do what you want as well. And so I think that sort of encompasses the whole theme of the book, which is just that kindness and compassion and genuinely caring for other people will always win in the long term. And as I said, this book was written over 80 years ago, but it's definitely still relevant. An example of this being relevant today is Gary Vee. I'm going to use him for the quote of the video. And he said that kindness and good always win when the clock hits 0-0. And basically he's saying in the long run, kindness and good is always going to win. Sometimes there may be some facade up that makes you think that it's not winning, but he said in the end it will win. And I think that's pretty much exactly what Dale Carnegie is trying to say in this book as well. And sometimes I've heard Gary Vee quotes like this, and maybe I've sort of thought, well, that sounds good and stuff like that, but I didn't really believe in it. I didn't really think it was possible, I guess. But after reading this book, I think it really opened my mind to the possibility of kindness, because he explained it in 200 or 230 pages, I think, whereas normally Gary's quotes are just real short snippets and stuff like that. So I think the book is really helpful for me in that way, and just expanding my mind towards being able to apply these methods in different situations, because you can say the methods and the principles all you want, but unless you give examples of how to apply that, it's not very helpful. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. So I really enjoyed the book personally. I think I learned a lot, and hopefully I'll be able to implement some of these strategies moving forward. I would definitely recommend this book to pretty much about anyone in any stage of life. I think it would really just help improve your communication skills and being able to work with people. That's really important these days. So if you do want to pick up a copy, I have an Amazon affiliate link in the description below. So if you use that link and purchase the book, I will receive a small commission, which will be no additional cost to you. But if you don't want to buy it, you could just pick it up at a local library. You could probably rent it or borrow it for pretty much nothing. That's what I did here. So whatever works for you is pretty much best for me, because I just want you to have access to all of the information, because I think it's really beneficial for anyone to have that information. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.